Hello, BookTube. Kevin Towle over at Kevin Towle Reads. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. I'll leave a link to the specific video down below. He has a series of videos that he does on his channel called Let Me Know, where he just asks for community reactions, community weighing in on a whole bunch of subjects related to either books or BookTube that on which he has genuine questions, where he wants to know where everybody else stands. It's a wonderful series of videos. They're almost always chum in the water for me to make a response video, not only because I love it when we all not only talk about our reading, but talk about reading in a meta sense. I can never get enough of conversations like that, never. And his latest one is a corker. It's already had one response. Bookless Pete did a response to it, but I want to make another one about the BookTube effect, which Kevin describes as a combination of feeling overwhelmed and feeling FOMO, fear of missing out. A stew of the effect that BookTube watching can have on you. That is a natural outgrowth of the fact that when you watch BookTube, in the first blush, when you first come across it, now in its present iteration, not 10 years ago when it was all bourbon binging adults screaming about books written for children, but as it is now, where it reflects the variety of readers that are out there, now the first blush of your reaction when you encounter BookTube is going to be joy. I would think it's going to be joy, because here is this big, bustling, multifaceted community of people talking about books and reading, which is, let's face it, at heart, a solitary habit. And is often indulged in by people who have no one to talk about it with. All of a sudden, you do have lots of people to talk about it with, and they're real people, quite a few of them. I'm not 100% sure that Kevin Towle is real. Could God be that cruel? But you know what I mean. You're suddenly seeing videos by people who are right there. They're not putting on airs. They're not in a studio production of any kind. Even when they have a set, even when they're doing edits on their videos in order to paste up pictures or add in B-roll footage or whatever, it's still them talking about their reading. So your first reaction when you see that is going to be joy. You're going to be happy to see that. But Kevin's right that after a while, something like the BookTube effect, and I don't know why we shouldn't call it that, does sometimes take hold. Where suddenly, even if you're not making videos, even if you're just watching videos and maybe commenting on some of them, you still start to feel all of the things that he's talking about. You're watching videos in which one booktuber after another is bombarding you with book recommendations. Or even bombarding you just with videos to watch. Was that the time? I'm not 100% sure that the BookTube effect couldn't also accurately be called the Steve Donahue effect. I'm not 100% sure that that's not true, but suddenly you're watching those videos and gradually there creeps upon you an intensification of some of the realizations that you might have had without BookTube, which is you're never going to get to more than a tiny fraction of the books that are out there. You're never going to get to more than a tiny fraction of the books that you actually would like. And you're always going to feel a little bit of FOMO. You're looking at the book world and you're realizing, if you're looking at BookTube, if you're looking, God forbid, you shouldn't, but if you're looking at Book Talk, then you'll be seeing 50 airbrushed animators all enthusing about the same one book that they haven't read. That is designed to create FOMO. It's designed to make you reach out and buy a book. And after a while of exposing yourself to BookTube, you are going to start to feel those things. Maybe. And that will underscore the theme that runs through Kevin's video, which is that that just irritates the realization that every reader has, that you're never going to have enough time, that there just isn't enough time to read all the books you want to read. And I sympathize with that. Of course I do. I am quasi-human. I do sympathize with that. Most of you have lots of other obligations pulling at your time. You're married, even though I told you not to. You have children, even though I warned you not to. You have exercise regimens. maybe. You exercise. Hygiene. You wear pants. You go to a job. You go to school and have classes. Volunteer. All sorts of things. You do all sorts of things. And let's not forget the comatose elephant in the room, which is that for 9 hours out of every 24, you become insensate, drooling blobs of protoplasm on your pillow. And it's not... The 9 hours is just when you are absolutely dead to the world, where I could prick you with a pin and you wouldn't notice it. It's not just that. It's that for the 2 hours before you start that 9-hour hibernation, you're longing for it. And really, it's the only thing you're thinking about. And for the 2 hours after you finish that hibernation, you're groggy and bumping into lampposts. We could say it's longer than that. Let's just say it's 9 hours. That's a lot. Out of every day, that's a lot. So you have all those things limiting the amount of time you have for reading. Now, don't tell Kevin I said this, but he is a BookTube hero of mine. All the people who are in his situation are BookTube heroes of mine, because he does a lot of those things. He has married. He has spawned. He does have a job, I presume. He has all sorts of things that he does. And yet he still makes time to make BookTube videos. And a lot of you do too. You have a lot of other climbs on your time, and yet you still find time to turn on a camera and tell me about your reading, because I'm a pampered little Pomeranian and I need the attention. I want updates from everybody. That's incredible. But when you watch BookTube, now BookTube is not like Instagram or, God forbid, BookTok. It's not trying to make you feel bad about your life, as Instagram and BookTok not only are, but have been measured to do. This little corner of BookTube is not trying to make you feel bad about your life, but nevertheless, you watch enough BookTube videos, you're going to see people tackling enormous books, getting lots of TBRs done, reading all sorts of things that you wish you could read, that you wish you had the time to read. You're gonna watch channels where the person is not only reading a book you wish you could read, but is at their fingertips an expertise that you have not had time to develop in that subject, and that you wish you could. You watch enough BookTube, you're going to see that. And it's that feeling of being overwhelmed, overstimulated, over-FOMO'd will create what Kevin has dubbed the BookTube effect. And he ends his video by asking, do you feel these things, first of all? And I would imagine that most of you do. Of course, I want to know if you're feeling these things. I'll leave a link to his video, but I want to know as well whether or not you feel these things, whether or not BookTube has increased that feeling. He mentions in his video where suddenly reading becomes a job through the lens of BookTube, especially if you're a BookTube video maker and not just a commenter. And that idea, remember, like I said, at first blush, finding that your very private, personal hobby is suddenly public feels wonderful. I firmly believe that was the source of the original success of something like Goodreads. But after a while, it can have an effect of that suddenly you start to think, well, maybe I don't want it to be this public. Maybe I don't want this much input from other people. Maybe I don't want to feel overwhelmed or FOMO. In my experience making BookTube videos, I've made over 100 BookTube videos, and in my experience making BookTube videos over the years, that has been one of the only genuinely valid reasons I've ever heard from anyone for leaving BookTube. I've known a handful of people who have given me a variation of that reason, that I don't like what this is doing to my reading. This is nothing negative about BookTube, and it's nothing negative about any BookTubers. It's just, I don't like what it's doing to my reading. Suddenly it has entered an element of almost competition, certainly comparison, in my reading that I don't like. And the way to get rid of it is to get rid of this community, even though I'll miss it. I've heard that from some people, and that has been the reason for leaving BookTube. But in his video, Kevin asks how you find balance. Presumably the balance between surrendering to feeling overwhelmed on one end, and on the other end, shutting down your channel and leaving BookTube. Presumably the balance between those two. Both of those are bad, I think. In my opinion, everyone should make BookTube videos and keep making BookTube videos. If I had my way, all the BookTubers that we have lost over the years would still be making videos. And that's a long roster. I have kept notes. There are a lot of booktubers I wish were still making videos. And the balance is possible, and it's very easy. But it's impossible in the 21st century because it involves a term that you're going to have to Google. Some of you will be old enough to remember it. But if you were born in the 21st century, you will not know the term, and you will have no idea what it means. So you'll have to look it up. And that term is called self-discipline. I know. What? What? LOL. Rolling on the floor laughing. LOL. What? I know. Self-discipline. Where you control yourself. I know, who knew? You've grown up, if you were born in the 21st century, you've grown up in a world where Elon Musk, the Nazi, controls you. And you're more or less comfortable with that. You're more or less comfortable with multinational financial corporations controlling you. But the idea of controlling yourself, oh, no. I've encountered this many times. Enough times to make me realize that the concept of self-control, like the concept of a sincere apology, has died. That element in society no longer exists for people who were born in the 21st century. In other words, the inheritors of our future. They not only don't exercise it, they don't know it exists. So it's not like they're learning about it and rejecting it. They have no idea. They don't know about sincere apologies, they don't know about privacy, and they don't know about self-control. It's just one of the batch of things that this new breed of people coming up just don't have any awareness of. And so they will have maybe some good things out of those ignorances, but they will also have bad things. And the BookTube effect is in large part, not to be a wet blanket here, the product of a lack of self-control. Maybe there's a little lack of self-esteem mixed in there as well, somewhere around the edges. To put it mildly, if I don't understand the lack of self-control, I very much don't understand the lack of self-esteem. It's just, these things I realize are just spectrums of the wavelength that I don't see. So I'm not meaning to be too hard on them. But a solution to being run ragged by always seeing the latest shiny object, the latest shiny book, or FOMO about what other people is reading is to control yourself. And realize that your reading is your own. Kevin says it's a conversation between yourself and other people. And that's very good. That's very economically put. Your reading journey is your own. Sometimes, inadvertently, booktubers may make you feel a little bad about your reading journey. Again, I'm not 100% sure that Kevin's video isn't simply about me. Since I read more than anybody, and I also post multiple videos a day, all demanding your attention. And if you send me an email saying, I'm sorry, I couldn't get to all of your videos today, I have a newborn baby, or I just started a new job, you will get back an angry screed from me, a Joan Crawford screed from me, saying, those things don't matter, you must prioritize me. It's not easy being a Steve viewer. So it's possible that I am adding to the BookTube effect, or maybe that I am the BookTube effect personified. You have to understand, though, I've done this much reading because I'm a full 28 years old. And I make as many videos as I do in part because I don't see how people don't. I really don't. I could make 10 of these a day. I have so many bookish things to share with you and also bookish questions for you. Oh my God, I could keep going. And also, I don't turn into a drooling blob of protoplasm for 10 hours out of every 24. Losing fully half your day. Utterly ridiculous. Just utterly ridiculous. So that it's, I know you people. I've talked to you at 7:30 in the evening. You start wondering, is it too early to go to bed? Oh. At 1 in the afternoon on your day off, your precious day off that you waited so long to have, at 1 in the afternoon, when you're a fully grown person who doesn't have any kind of alien parasite eating at your innards, at 1 in the afternoon, you'll start to think, oh, I might like a nap. Oh, I might like a little trial run of death before I do the full run of death at night. But aside from those things, which appear to be locked in, you do waste a lot of time. don't mean to harp on this, although I'm going to harp on it in a few videos today, you do waste a lot of time. And one way to find that balance would be to identify the 2 hours of time that you waste a day. 2 hours. And I'm not talking about here, when I say waste of time, I'm not talking about time where you're feeling groggy because you were just hibernating for 10 hours. I'm not talking about that. That appears to be physiological. There doesn't appear to be anything you can do about that. I'm talking about the 2 hours that you waste. Just plain waste. Most obvious candidate being simply scrolling on your phone. You're not doing anything, and yet the minutes just melt by. You could strike a balance against the BookTube effect in that way. But the main way that you're going to find balance with the BookTube effect and with FOMO and feeling overwhelmed with all these recommendations and books that you're seeing is to carefully control yourself. Identify what it is that you want to read and read that. Don't be a little kitten swiping at every piece of string that comes your way. The 21st century, the proliferation of social media is designed to make you that way. It's designed to remove your ability to resolve your attention, to fix it, which is why you can't do it anymore. You, or listening to me right now, can't focus on one thing for an hour without doing anything else. You're not able to do that anymore. Much less 5 hours. You're not able to do that anymore. And the people who were born into that world, people who are digital, so-called digital natives, they don't even know that it's possible. They don't even conceive of being able to do that. So when you see a book talk video, 10 book talk videos, all by, lip gloss little young things, all showing the same book, well, that's a marketing campaign that you're watching. It's designed to make you want to mindlessly buy the book just because it's dangling in front of you. You could, when faced with that, control yourself. You could control yourself. You could exercise self-control. So that is when Kevin ends his video by asking, how do you find the balance that you need if you do? And that is my answer to how you would find the balance. You control yourself. Now, I want to stress here, before I wrap up this video, that you controlling yourself in absolutely no way means you watch fewer of my videos. You must watch all of my videos, and you must comment on every one of them telling me how pretty I am. I don't make the rules. Anyway, that is the BookTube effect, and Kevin ends his video by asking you all what you think of it, how much you feel this. What has BookTube done to your reading? And of course, I want to know that as well. That is such a fascinating question. So of course, I want to know that. What has BookTube done to your reading? Feel free to sound off in the comments. Sound off to Kevin's comments. I'll leave a link to his video. It's a great discussion. So I'll wrap this up for now and go on to make a whole lot more videos that you can watch and comment on and compliment me before you yeah. Recognize that? Thank you, BookTube.